This episode of Logan Chops Reviews is sponsored in part by Ion Games. It's in our nature. The Giveaway Geek. The Getting Geeky with Game Relief podcast. Hello everyone, welcome to this episode of Logan Chops Reviews. Today for you we have a preview of a game coming to Kickstarter. It's Build a Cure. We're going to go ahead and take a look at everything inside this box, show you all the cards, and get to the gameplay. In this game that's coming to Kickstarter on July 30th, you play a scientist that is trapped in a warehouse after a nuclear test that you've got trapped in. You and your fellow scientists have to run to the warehouse, and you're trapped in there, unfortunately, because all the diseases and cures and stuff that are in that warehouse exploded. So you've got a safety team that's on the way to evacuate you, but they cannot open the door to let you out and get you to safety from the radiation from the nuclear blast until all diseases that have been exposed in the warehouse are eradicated, and it's up to you to cure all those diseases that you've come into contact with. This game is for 1 to 6 players, and it's pretty good. It's a nice strategy card game. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at everything we get inside this box that you will get during the Kickstarter for different pledge levels of the funds. And yeah, let's go ahead and get to those cards. To start off with, we've got the rule book right here, which has everything you need to set up everything in here. It also has separate rules. Let's see, where were they? For setting up if you want to play a single-player game or a 2-player game, and then the rest of the rules in the book they go through the setup are for 3 to 6 players. So that's really nice. It's got a little grid telling you how many cards you're going to draw depending on the players, so starting cards, and what your hand size is during the turn depending on the amount of players. And I really like this that in the back, you know, it's got all the rules, but in the back it's got a little glossary of all the resource cards in the game. So if you're a little confused by the cards and what they mean, it tells you exactly what they do and clarification. And also the symptom and event cards. It's got a little clarification right there in the back of the book. You have different types of tokens. In the game, there's going to be 6 different types of tokens. They only sent us 5 of those because we rarely play with 6 people in our group. So we only have 5 in the set we got here. We see they got the different symbols on there, and there's 3 of each one because each player will get a set of these 3 tokens, which are used to place on the element cards to keep track of them during the turn of who played what. And also, whenever the turn comes back around to you at the beginning of your turn, if any of your cards, your element cards, are still out there with your token on the card, the token comes back to you and the card gets discarded if it hasn't been bound to another element. So that's these. So let's go ahead and get to the turn guide and some of the other cards that are in here. Okay, so here's some of the cards that are in the game. Every player gets a turn guide that tells you exactly how the turn structure goes. At the beginning of the turn, like I was saying before, any tokens that you have that are on elements come back to you and those elements get discarded. Then whoever's the active player will draw 2 cards, and then they got a choice to play up to 3 of the following actions. That's what it says on the turn guide, but it actually depends on how many players there are. If there's 1 player, I think you get 5 actions. If there's 2 to 5 players, you get 3 actions. If there's 6 players, everybody only gets 2 actions. And you get to do these the basic actions they've got in there, which is to either place an element card on the disease as well as your marker. It will go onto that element card to keep track. You can play a bond or a resource card, which we'll get to what those are here in a minute. You can give a card to another player. Yeah, so you pass one of your cards, you can give it to another player. Or you can draw an additional card from the resource deck. So those are the 4 different actions in this game, and you have 3 actions to do. You can do them. And then at the end of your turn, you have to discard down to whatever the hand limit is. And the hand limit depends on how many players there are. It's all in the rule book. So everybody gets one of these turn guides, and this is double-sided because on the back of it, it has the element count. And it shows how many numbers, or the numbers that are on the elements, and we'll show you those here in a minute. But it also says what the elemental symbols are on the top. It's carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, and sulfur, and what you need, and how many of those cards are in the resource deck. Like you see right there that we have carbon has 2 cards that are numbered 4. Hydrogen has 1 card that is numbered 4, and you get a little chart. So it's got a resource, so you can kind of keep track and know, okay, what is still in the deck if all those cards have been used up, and then maybe you need to find some way to dig through the discards to find them. But everybody gets one of these turn guide cards, and they also get one of these cards that it actually has the same thing on the back of this card, but on the other side it has a disease count, and the disease shows how many of each element you need to cure that disease. Like, let's just pick one here, like poison. You're going to need 17 carbon, 23 hydrogen, 1 nitrogen, and 3 oxygen to be able to cure that poison right there. And then it also gives a total amount through the game right there. So everybody gets one of these to sit off of them, so they have reference. They can see how stuff. Now, the different stuff that's in the disease deck are obviously the diseases. Number 1, like you see right here, arsenic poisoning. It has the title up there of what it is. It has a little thing that affects you. It's a little bad effect that, like you see, with this arsenic poisoning, it says you cannot use bond cards while this card is in play. So that affects the player that the disease is on. And then it has down here what can cure it. This is a dimersaprol. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. Dimersaprol. Yes. Anyway, apparently Gothy is a scientist and knows how to pronounce all those words. And it shows you what elements you need to have all together bound to cure this disease and remove it from the board. Let's see another one right here. We got anthrax. If it's on you, you draw 1 less card per turn, and it shows you all the different stuff you need. What do you need? You need 9 carbon, 11 hydrogen, 2 nitrogen, 4 oxygen, and 1 sulfur to make penicillin to cure the anthrax. Now, there's other stuff in the disease decks that whenever you draw them, they will take effect, because different exposure cards in the resource deck will make you draw diseases. Like, see right here, unstable element says all unbound element cards must be discarded when this card is drawn. So different events that happen when you draw from the disease deck. All stuff like a catastrophe, discard the next 5 cards in the resource deck. Well, now some of those elements you need are in the discard. You got to find a way to pull them back out. See, there's play in exposure cards that are drawn. Because exposure cards are basically the ones that make diseases come out. At the beginning of the game, they are shuffled into the resource deck after the resource deck is shuffled, and you only use a certain amount of them. I think in the base game that we got, there was 10. So if you're playing a full 6-player game, you're going to use 10 of them. If you're playing less players, like me and Gothy, we were only playing 2 players, so we only use, I think, 8 of them for a 2-player game. We wanted to be a little more difficult. It says on the first game to only use maybe 6 or 7, but we like to challenge ourselves. But exposure cards, when they come up, they got a little descriptor text right there. What is this? This one, while changing your bandages, you came in contact with a contaminated surface, draw 1 disease card. And then you'll get that disease card. It'll stay in front of you until you can cure it. Another exposure card right here. You consumed contaminated water, draw a disease card. And these are how they come up during the game to get diseases out there. And the purpose of the game is to wipe away all diseases. And as soon as all diseases on the board are out of play, you win. And you do that by playing these element cards, like I was talking about before. This right here is hydrogen. You can see it's got the H symbol for hydrogen. It's got the name, and it's got a number on it, 8. Because you're going to have to combine these together and bind them together to actually cure diseases. Like you can see, anthrax here has H11, hydrogen. So if I were to play this onto the anthrax like that, you play it to, when you play elements, you play it to the left of the disease card. Now I've got to find something to bind it together to move it to the right side of the disease card. And since I need a total of 11 hydrogen, I need to find like a 1 and then a 2, or I need to find a 3 hydrogen to combine together to cure, or to make that 11. So when I put it in play, let's just say I put it in play, I put my token there on the card to say it's mine. Let's say I didn't have another hydrogen. I had a carbon like that. This carbon is carbon 2. And I need a total of 9. I can put this out there and then play my little token on it. And then I have to bind these together somehow to move them to the other side. Before my next turn comes around, at the beginning of my turn, these tokens would come off and these cards would go to the discard. I can do that by playing a card like Simple Conveyor Bond. like this. It lets me combine two single elements together. So if I played this, this would go to the discard pile. My tokens would automatically come back to me right away, and these would be bound together. These two would be bound together. And they go as, now they're called a compound, and they go over here to the right-hand side of the disease. Let's say I played something else. Let me grab one from over here in my stack. Thought I had some of these ready, but here, let's say, oxygen. I got an oxygen here. I need 4 oxygen total, so I only got an oxygen 1. Maybe somebody else has something during the turn I can play it. I put that there. But then I want to play a card like Complex, or no, let's go ahead and play Polar Covalent Bond. This is this bond. It lets you do and combine any 2 items that are together like that. Any 2 items that are together. So I can say, okay, I want to bind this a single element. You can see it's got a single element symbol and a compound. So this compound over here, I can go ahead and combine those together, play that, discard it, and now it binds this to this compound here, like that. Sometimes you're not going to have it like that. Sometimes, let's say we had another hydrogen like this. Let's say I had bound these together separately. I had played these 2 separately like this, and I played another simple covalent bond, and decided to bond these 2 together. These would be bound, but then when they're bound and they go over here, they don't bind to this compound that's already there. They're a separate compound that's bound together. I would have to use something like that polar covalent bond that lets me bind 2 different compounds. I have to play that to bind these together. And now that would make a total of 8 plus 4 would be 12 for hydrogen. Now I'm actually over. I need hydrogen 11. So that was actually a little bit of a mistake on my part. But it would bind them all together. Or if, let's say, I've already had these over here, I've got that like that. I don't have a polar covalent bond, but let's say I played another, oh, look, hey, nitrogen over there. Let's say I had a carbon also, just filling up this whole board with elements here. I had it like that. Could play a complex covalent bond that lets me bind together any number of things. So say, okay, this single element plus this single element plus this compound plus this compound, and just make them all together like this, which is basically what you have to do in the end to make the cure for this disease right here. Bind them all together to be able to cure that disease. Once your numbers all add up to what the exact numbers on your disease are. You can't go over, you can't have less, because then you wouldn't be making that compound. Obviously, you'd make something else other than penicillin. So that's how those all work there with the disease and stuff. Other cards you have, I'm going to show you all of them because I want some surprise in the resource deck. But yeah, stuff like this, recycle elements, unless you actually go into the discard and pull out elements. Since you only have certain ones that are certain numbers. It's like, oh, okay, I'm going to go into the discards. I'm going to pull out this carbon here and put it in my hand. And then I can play it on another disease like that. Last cards I want to show you is the cards that actually go on the bottom of the resource deck. The Ultimate Sacrifice card is the one that goes next to last on the bottom of the resource deck. This one comes up where if you have a quarantine card that's in play in front of you, which I haven't shown you, I'll let you see that whenever the game launches. But if you have this, you can actually sacrifice yourself to get rid of the diseases so that everybody else wins. This goes on the bottom of the resource deck like so. But then the last card, all the way in the bottom, is the No More Resources card. Because if you run out of resources, put it like this, if you run out of resources and there's still diseases on the board and you play all the resources from your hand, everybody loses. That's one of the losing conditions of the game. And we go through those actually during the gameplay, which we will get to right now. Alright, we have everything set up for a game of Build a Cure. We both have 7 cards in our hands since there's 2 players in this game. I have 1 exposure card, so at the beginning of my turn, I will actually be drawing a disease. Usually you play them whenever you draw them. Well, right away exposure, you do it right away. Did you have any exposure cards?
Nope.
Nope. All right, Gothi's no exposure. We've already dealt out until we came across a disease, because at the beginning of the game, you have to deal disease cards to each player until somebody ends up with a disease, and the rest of the cards end up getting shuffled back into the disease deck. I have Anthrax. Wonderful. Which
awesome band, by the way.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, awesome music. Not so great of a disease. I'm going to be drawing one less card per turn, and you can tell it's got a cure down there, which is penicillin. You can see we got carbon. We'll need 9. Hydrogen. We'll need 11. What's that next one? Nitrogen. We'll need 2. Oxygen. We'll need 4, and sulfur. We'll need 1. So that is assigned to me. And since I'm the dealer, I don't start off. It starts off with Gothy. Look at what's in my hand right now.
So I still got 2 cards. Correct?
Yeah, so you still take the normal beginning of the turn.
Oh, exposure.
Exposure. What's it say?
You consume contaminated water. Oh. Draw 1 card from the disease deck.
Okay, exposure goes, yeah, it's a discard pile right there. So draw a card from the disease deck.
Catastrophe.
Oh, what's it say?
Discard the next 5 cards from the resource deck. Play any exposure cards as if drawn.
Nope. Okay. So, go ahead.
Recycle resource.
That's 1.
Compound. Recycle.
3.
Oxygen.
4.
And complex bond.
Oh, okay. Complex covalent bond. Alright. Alright, so no more exposures for it now. And now you get to continue your turn. So since there's 2 players, we each get 3 actions from the ones that are available.
So you need a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Bunch of stuff.
Alright. So I will play hydrogen 1.
Okay, so it's 1 hydrogen and your token on there. Okay.
And hydrogen 8 or H8.
Okay. They're separate. They're not bound together, so they're separate elements right now.
And so that's 2 actions, correct?
Yes.
Then I'll play complex compound.
Complex covalent bond. Yeah.
I know how to
To combine any number of elements and or compounds in it. So to combine these 2, okay, when they're combined, you get them right there. They go together, and they are placed to the right of my disease, right there. So now it counts as 9 hydrogen together.
Okay.
Okay.
So that was 3 actions.
3 actions, yes.
And
Then,
discard down to hand limit. I only got 5, so I'm good.
yep, so you're good. Hand limit is
Your turn.
Hand limit is 7 for us, actually. Yeah. Okay. Beginning of my turn, collect all markers, which I don't have, and discard any unbound elemental cards, which I don't have, but I do have that exposure card that I have to play because it was in my starting hand. So you were bitten by a rat, draw 1 card from the disease deck. So I get to draw a card from the disease deck. Oh, poison! So I've been poisoned also. Take
Another
1.
good band.
Yeah, another good band. Hey! Take 1 less action per turn, and atropine is the cure for this one. You can see the elemental symbols and what we need right there. I'm going to put it off to the side over here. Yeah, since we're not really working too much on that one right now. All right, let me see what I need. Okay. So now I get to draw my cards. I forgot to draw my cards. But because of the anthrax, I draw 1 less card per turn. So I only draw 1 card instead of 2. Alright, that's good right there. And because of the poison, I take 1 less action per turn. So I only have 2 actions to do, not 3. So that makes it a little bit tougher for me as I'm fighting off this poison and anthrax. Alright. Let me see. I think I'm going to play hydrogen over here to the anthrax. Hydrogen 1. And I'm going to play an oxygen 1, because this poison only needs oxygen 3. So I'm going to play an oxygen 1. If we look at our elemental list, yeah, we do have some oxygen 2s in the deck somewhere. But I'll put my token on that one to show that they're mine, and hopefully you'll be able to bind them beforehand. Look at my hand. I have 5 cards, so I'm good for hand size, and pass turn to you.
So draw 2 cards.
Okay, no explosions. Good, no explosions.
23 hydrogen.
23 hydrogen over here. We still only need. We've got. If you can bind this hydrogen to this one, it'll be 10, and then we'll only need 1 more hydrogen 1 on the anthrax.
Okay. So
hydrogen 20 over here. All right.
Hold on. I had it for a second.
That's okay.
Trying to think.
No problem.
I will put carbon 2 over there.
All right. Yep. There's that's 2 actions.
I think I'm going to try to bond those 2.
These 2 right here?
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah. So, complex 1 binds any number of them. Okay. So, I get my token back. You'll get your token back. This immediately gets discarded. These bind together over here and are placed like that. Because these compounds are still separate, they haven't been bound together to each other yet to go onto the to help cure the anthrax. They just bind together. All right, and you're finished?
Yes.
All right. Discard? No?
Nope.
No discards? Okay. All right. So beginning of my turn, I'm only drawing 1 card. Oh, no. Sorry. Before drawing, any tokens I have on cards that are out there come back to me, and the cards get discarded. So this oxygen goes away, and your hydrogen's still there. Now I get to draw only 1 card. All right. Whew, this is a toughie. All right, I've only got a couple of things I can do. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure I save this. Since I only got 2 actions here, I'm going to go ahead and place carbon right here, this element on that one there. And then I will play a simple covalent bond, which just lets me combine 2 elements as opposed to the complex ones I got these been playing that let you combine like everything, no matter what it is, compounds, elements, this and that.
That's what I'm doing.
Simple covalent bond to combine 2 elements to combine these, this hydrogen 20 and this carbon 4 together towards this poison. All right, so you'll get your token, I'll get my token back. And those count as my 2 actions, 4 cards. Like, you have no tokens coming back to you, so yeah.
So you still need
A lot of stuff.
1 more hydrogen.
Yes, 1 more hydrogen, and 7 more carbon to finish off the carbons here. Still need 2 nitrogen, 4 oxygen, and 1 sulfur on the anthrax, and need a whole lot of stuff over here on the poison.
Okay.
All right.
So, do you have stuff to bond?
Yeah.
Okay.
I could bond something.
Because I know that it says you can give a card to another player.
Yes. As one of your actions.
Trying to make sure that I don't waste a card.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll throw in a mystery element.
Yeah. What is
for the hydrogen.
Okay. So using that as a hydrogen mystery element. The mystery element, can be used as any card there. So she's using it as a hydrogen 1 on the anthrax.
So for my second action, I'm actually going to draw a card.
Okay.
oxygen.
I'm playing oxygen 2 over there. Awesome. Yeah. Okay.
And I'll pass turn.
Pass turn. Alright. And you got cards.
Yeah,
Less than 7. Alright, beginning of my turn. I'll go ahead and draw my 1 card. Okay, good. Good. And I only have 2 actions. Okay, let's go bind some stuff together. Alright. I'm going to use a polar conveyant bond. Let's be combined any 2 items together. So either element to element, compound, 1 compounded element, or 2 compounds together. So I'm going to use that on the anthrax right here. I'm going to take this element here and this compound right here and mix them together. I'm going to keep it because that will remind me that is hydrogen that mystery one is being used as. Right. So that's that. My second action is I will use another polar covalent bond to bond this oxygen element to this compound over here that's on the poison. So now we just need 1 more oxygen over there and a bunch of other stuff. And that is my 2 actions.
Okay.
Okay. No exposures, no surprise stuff.
So I'll give you your extra oxygen.
Okay, yeah, that will give me a total of 3. If I can bind it, you might have to bind it up.
I don't have bindings.
I only have a simple covalent bond, so I might have to get something drawn.
I can give you some sulfur.
Okay, so sulfur on there. Ooh, yeah, I can. Well, I can't bond that either.
Ooh. That was 2, right?
Yep.
Draw 1 more card then.
Okay, just in case. Alright, and then you have to discard down to 7, so it's 2 cards. 6? Alright. Beginning of my turn, I draw my 1 card. It is not a bond. So, yeah, simple covalent bond can only combine 2 elements. Which, we don't have 2 elements. I got a bunch of compound with that element on there. So I'm not going to be able to bind them. I really can't do anything. Okay, well, I've got 2 actions since I have 1 less because of the poison. So my first action, I'm going to use it to draw an additional card from the resource deck. Hopefully I get 1. I got an element card. Oh, okay. So, second action. Let's see, how many cards I got in my hand? I have 5 cards. So second action, I'm going to use to just draw another card. That's another card. Oh, I'm hoping to stock up for later. Okay, I got 6 cards in my hand, and I pass turn to you. Beginning of your turn, you collect your markers, and anything that are on gets discarded. So, even though they were the right ones we needed, it's a little bit wasted because we weren't able to bond them. And then you get to draw your cards.
So I need 3 more hydrogen. Have nitrogen.
Huh? Do I have it? I don't have any nitrogen. I've got I got some carbons.
I'm gonna play a recycle resource.
Alright.
It says play as 1 action, retrieve 1 resource card from the discard pile. So I'm gonna look for some bonding stuff.
Yeah, it just says recycle. It's a 1. Yeah, something either a polar or a complex. There we go, complex.
Discard. You have all your oxygen.
I need 1 more oxygen here. 4 oxygen on this one.
So can I use the compound to combine those two?
Yeah. The complex covalent bond, it can be used to combine any number of elements and/or compounds. So these two will, or if you beforehand you play an element on there, it can be used to combine the element plus those two all together to make one more new compound. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me make sure I'm not gonna go over.
Yeah. Well, we got enough hydrogens. Don't worry about hydrogens.
Yeah, no.
We need 7 more carbon, 2 more nitrogen, and 1 more sulfur on anthrax.
Oxygen also.
Yeah, 4 more oxygen. I think it's that. I don't know. Okay, so there's 4 oxygen. Okay, so that's your second turn, is playing that element there. And third turn is to combine all of it all together. So we'll put them like this. Carbon. Carbon actually. We'll put that beforehand, because that's how it's lined up on the card. Oxygen after hydrogen. We need some nitrogen in the middle there. Okay, now that all counts as 1 compound altogether, separate from anything else that's made. And that's your
getting
third
it
turn,
slowly
right?
but surely.
Slowly but surely. Don't call me Shirley. How many cards do you have in your hand?
6.
6. All right. And your turned over?
Yes.
Yep. All right. So, beginning of my turn, I'll draw my 1 card. That's another carbon. I could be able to do anything. Let me actually, okay, hold on. How many carbons do I need here? We've had some carbons in the discard pile, haven't we?
Not very many.
Not very many. Did you have that? Oh, no, that's not good. That's not good. Okay. Well,
I think the difficult part is trying to get the exact number, because I can go way over.
Yeah, way over. Yeah. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do. I only have 2 actions, which it really limits me. That poison really limits me on what I can do every turn.
You can draw.
Yeah, but I'm already holding 7 cards in my hand.
You can get rid of stuff you're not going to.
I'm going to put. Do you have anything to bond stuff?
Nope.
Ooh.
Do you?
I got a simple one. Yeah. Because I can pass a card, give a card to another player's hand. Let me pass a simple covalent bonding to you there, since you're able to do stuff. And then, since we do need 3 hydrogen over there, I'm going to use my second action to pass you this hydrogen 3. Okay. All right. Then I got 5 cards, so no discarding. All right, so we are well on our way to getting rid of this anthrax and hydrogen, and possibly having some more exposure cards come up, which means we'll draw more diseases. But yeah, so that's basically how you play Build a Cure. You keep going until either you clear all the active diseases on the board, is the win condition. As soon as you clear all the active diseases on the board, you win. You lose if you reach the bottom of the resource deck, and there are any uncured diseases remaining on the table after they've all been played. Obviously, you lose. If there are 4 uncured diseases on the table and a contagion card is drawn, you'll lose. Or if there are 5 uncured diseases in play on the table at the end of any player's turn, because that's just way too many diseases for everybody to handle. All right, so let's go ahead and get to the review. So Build a Cure by Sky Developed LLC is a great strategic card game. It's compact. Carrying a little case like this, wonderful. Just pick it up and go. It's a great little mini card game to get going. We really enjoyed it. Our gaming group enjoyed it. I got anthrax a bunch of times. We cured me of the anthrax, thankfully, because I hear that's a stupid disease. Anyway, but it's great. It's coming to Kickstarter on July 30th. The link will be down in the description whenever it goes live. So go ahead and check it out. We really liked it. We're sure you will too. Go ahead and make sure you hit that subscribe button. Head on over to our Facebook. Hit that like button over there. And stay tuned for some more contests and great previews, reviews, and gameplay videos. And also make sure you check out our sponsors in the link below in the description. I'm Logan, and we'll see you next time. Happy gaming.